the WTF of the week. This is a middle school assignment. I'm still pissed that this reporter didn't put the name of this stupid school in here. I want the name of this school. I want to give these people a call. I want to write these people a letter. We need to get some lawyers involved in this one. This is scary. This is beyond scary. This is dangerous, and this is going to get people killed. I'm sorry, you don't believe me? Well, you know, I'm one of these kinds of guys. What I lack in intelligence, I more than make up for in wisdom. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back and tell everybody how great and wonderful I am, because I'm far from great and wonderful. But when you start messing with things, especially the Second Amendment, if you understand why that Second Amendment is in the Constitution, which the overwhelming vast majority of the American people have demonstrated today that they don't. Why? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's because the teachers don't know it. That's why they can't teach it. But we have a teacher over here. We have a whole school that's got a handbook on the Second Amendment. You're going to like this. It's a workbook handed out to 7th grade students in Springfield, Illinois. States that all Americans must register their firearms in order to have a Second Amendment right. Now I'm going to get down here. This is in their handbook, and I wrote down every single word on this, and it was a picture. And you can see it on. It's been all over Facebook. It's been all over the place. So this isn't breaking news. But provided to the Illinois Gun Owners' Rights Facebook page by a local parent, the required reading makes several blatantly false statements regarding the right to gun ownership. Now, this is what they're teaching 7th grade students in Springfield, Illinois. Now, if you're in Springfield, Illinois, or in your Podunk, Idaho, doesn't matter where you are. If you've got a child in school, you need to get to that school. You need to get to the PTA meetings. You need to get yourself involved. You need to find out just exactly what the hell these teachers are teaching your students, your kids. Not your students, your children. You need to find out what the hell these people are doing. They're not teaching, they're indoctrinating. And they're indoctrinating because they have never been educated themselves. They don't know. How can you teach something to somebody that you don't know? If you don't know something, how the hell can you teach it? You can't. That's why they don't. Now this right here, this is in the handbook, right? And I copied it, word for word, teaching the students in 7th grade. It says on the top, the Bill of Rights. Looks like we got a caller on here. Hold on a little bit. I got to finish this story here, and we'll get to you. The Bill of Rights. And underneath it says Amendment 2, 1791, in parentheses, right to bear arms. Then it says, this amendment states that people have the right to certain weapons, providing that they register them and they have not been in prison. The Founding Fathers included this amendment. This is funny. The Founding Fathers included this amendment to prevent the United States from acting like the British, who tried to take weapons away from the colonists. Well, what the hell are you doing? You're already taking weapons away from us. What are you talking about? First of all, the Founding Fathers did not put that in there. None of this stuff the Founding Fathers put in there. Oh, you don't believe me, do ya? Okay. I know it by heart, but I'm going to make damn sure that I don't miss one single word. That's what we do on this program. We tell the truth. And if that means that we got to read something, even though we know it by heart, just to make extra sure that we get it right, well, that's what we do. This is the Second Amendment, Springfield, Illinois. A well-regulated militia. That's people, you idiot. That's the people. Being necessary to the security of a free state, which is exactly what we don't have anymore. And bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, what does this really mean? Well, let me explain it to you there, Springfield, Illinois. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. That means the American people have the right. Actually, it's more of an obligation. It's more of a responsibility, more of a duty, if you really want to get right down to it. That is American people's duty in order to preserve the security of a free state, which is what we're not really exactly living in right today. The American people have the right to bear arms so they can uprise and defend themselves from their government if it ever turns tyrannical. It has nothing to do with registering, has nothing to do with hunting, has nothing to do with home intruders. That's not why the Second Amendment is in the Constitution. It has nothing to do with sport. Freedom is not sport. I'm sick and tired of people just completely rewriting history. How can you do that? Why are there no lawyers right now involved in this? Why were these teachers not removed from the classroom? Why was the superintendent of the goddamn school board, why is that person not removed from school? Why are they not fired? How can you possibly rewrite the Constitution and teach that to your students and then argue with people to say, no, you're not right? I just read the Constitution. I just read the Second Amendment. Not one word in what I read, what's in here, of what they're teaching their students was in the Second Amendment. So here we have this teacher, this parent. His child says, hey, Dad, look what they're trying to teach me in school. Well, it turns out that the parent and the child, 7th grader's not really a child, a kid, 13, 14 years old, whatever. They're gun enthusiasts. They're hunters, they're sportsmen, this and that, but that's not why the Second Amendment is in the Constitution. It has nothing to do with sport. Fighting for freedom is not a sport. Fighting for freedom is an obligation to yourself. That's an obligation to yourself. That's a duty to yourself. And if you don't want to be free, well, then don't fight. But I do want to be free, and I'm going to continue to fight. And it is unfortunate, but yeah, we do have to fight for freedom every day. We can't take a day off. We can't take a minute off. We can't even blink. The moment you blink and forget about fighting for your freedom, well, you just lost it. And that's what's happening. So this parent, he has to now speak on the condition of anonymity, which, again, my broken left-handed tongue, I apologize. It's very difficult for me to speak. And then you try to say words like this, forget about it. Anonymity. Oh, look at that. I spit it out. Oh, I get a prize. Man can't come out and tell you who he is. Why? Because he's afraid. Why is he afraid? He's afraid because the government is going to persecute him for speaking his mind. Freedom of speech. Again, that's the First Amendment. How did we get into a position where we are afraid of our government? Our government should be afraid of us, which I think they are. That's why they're buying up all the weapons and stuff. But they should be afraid of us. So what they do, they try to take away our rights so they can have more power over us. So we can't uprise. Well, let me tell you something. You take away everything from people. Okay, it may take a few years. It may take even 100, may even take 200 or 300, 400 years. But eventually, people will rise up. You can only push people for so far and for so long, and when they rise up, that's when things get real ugly, real quick. Well, things are fugly out there, let me tell you. So this guy has to speak on the condition of anonymity, confirm the assignment to StoryLeak, and detail their child's initial reaction. The man goes on to say, my son was given a workbook at school that is a complication of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. When they covered the Second Amendment, he saw that stating that there were only certain guns that could be owned. Let me check the Second Amendment again. Right to bear arms. It just says bear arms. Arms. What is arms? It's a gun. Doesn't matter what the size is. It's a gun. We have the right to bear arms. I mean, these guys, this government has tanks, missiles. God knows the amount of arms that this government has. And they're going to complain to us about a AK-47 or a pistol, where they've got missiles and tanks and giant shells, but we can't have a pistol without registering it with the government. Well, let me tell you something, government. The majority of the crimes committed by guns are committed by guns that were bought on the black market. Yeah. So how many people's lives were saved by that registration? And even the guns that were registered, that were used in crimes. Did that registration really stop anybody from killing anybody? No. Why? Well, because the will to kill is what kills. If you have the will to kill, you will kill, whether you've got a gun, a knife, anything. I've got a pencil in my hand and it's sharp. I could jam this son of a bitch in your throat and you'd be dead in less than 30 seconds. Now, is this an assault pencil? Do I have to now register this gun, this weapon, this horrible device that I have in my hand, this man-killing pencil? Do I have to register this now? Huh? Miss Diane Feinstein? Do I have to register my assault pencil with you now? Huh, sweetie? You want to stop the people from killing? Well, then work on the will to kill. Work on that. But see, we can't do that. Well, why? Well, because we're going to have to go out there and actually do something. We're not allowed to work. We're in Congress. Come on. We just pass laws. You have to work on the will to kill. And we can't expect, first of all, we can't expect Congress to do that. That's the American people. That's our job. That's what is within us, inside here. That's our job. That's what we have to do. We have to work on our own will. We work on our own will. We stick to ourselves. We're going to be a lot better off. But no, nobody else wants to work on themselves because ourselves are perfect. Obviously, they must be because they've got all this time to worry about everybody else. They just don't simply have enough. There's not enough time in the day to worry about me. Why should I worry about me? I'm perfect. I'm a Democrat. I believe in peace and love and unicorns and rainbows for everybody. He brought this to my attention, the father says, as he felt it was wrong to teach these things that aren't true. Well, yeah. He says, I'm extremely proud of my son for his actions. Well, I'm proud of this kid, too. Why wasn't there more of these students that did this? Huh? Me and my children are active gun enthusiasts and supporters of the Second Amendment. Well, how could you not be a supporter of the Second Amendment? When I hear people say, well, I support the Constitution, but I don't support this. Well, then what the hell do you support? They don't know. While the parent confronted several school administrators, which are cowards, they're not going to do anything. They believe in this stuff. The workbook is likely to stay in circulation for young students across the state. So I guess this isn't just one school. I guess it's the entire state of Illinois. Illinois. Wasn't there somebody that came from Illinois? That's right. Barack Obama. Yeah, you remember. Yeah. He organized that community in Chicago. You know, the one that's, the murder capital of the country now. Yeah. That's the community that he organized. That's a hell of a job. That's qualifications to be president. I even told the school officials that I talked to that you can't reword the Constitution to what you think it should be, and you should only teach what it is. We live in a society where children are being taught to fear firearms instead of bracing them and shooting sports, and are shooting sports. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I do remember when I was a kid in school. Now, I know this was a few years ago. However, we did have police officers, state troopers, that would come into the school, and they did teach fire safety to us. Firearm safety. That's right, I was in 5th grade. It was an after-school thing. We didn't get to shoot the gun, but they told us about the gun. Why can't we do that today? Well, we can't even have a kid make a fake gun with his fingers, and we need to get 4 steroid-raged, buffed-up cops to come in there and arrest this 10-year-old kid who made a goddamn gun with his fingers. First of all, any cop that would put handcuffs on a 10-year-old kid should not be wearing a badge, and most goddamn definitely should not be carrying a gun. What the hell kind of a society are we living in today, and why? Why did you people vote for this crap? And you like it? This is what you wanted? This is it? Are you happy? Christ. I'm telling you, is that a conversation with that kid? I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now. I don't want this. We don't need this. We cannot afford this, but this will happen. This is simple human psychology. You do not have to be a friggin' brain surgeon. You do not have to have a piece of paper with your name on it that says you're smart to be able to realize simple, basic human psychology. What's going on in this country right now, there's far too many people that are just fed up with having their rights and freedoms taken away. And if you think for 1 second this is going to continue without any resistance, and when I mean resistance, I mean actual physical resistance. And that is what's going to happen. We don't need to go down that road. We can fix that. But we can't expect our government to fix it. They're not going to fix it. We have to fix it. This is our problem. We're the ones who created it. We now have to fix it. And it's very simple. Well, how do you do that? Well, you start voting properly. But before you can vote properly, you've got to start putting people in a position to run for office. You have to vet them. Reince Priebus, however you pronounce your name, yeah, you come out there and you say some good things every now and then, and I got a couple of quotes in here today from you. It's not enough, kid. It's just not enough. We don't need any more words. We don't need any more speeches. We certainly don't need any more goddamn tweets. We need action. Real action. But we can't get there. But we can get a speech. Oh, I feel warm and fuzzy now. Oh, that speech. Whoa, God almighty. Here I was. Now I got a speech? Wow, I feel so much better. All my rights have been given back to me because somebody gave me a speech. Unfortunately, for young minds across the country, false information regarding the Bill of Rights and the Constitution is rampant. Exactly. It's everywhere. It's in your school. It's in my school. It's in all schools. It's across the country. Now, is there anybody out there who can argue this and say that this is a proper thing to do? That the founding fathers said, yeah, you can have a gun, but you've got to register it. That was the whole purpose for the Second Amendment, so people wouldn't have to register it. That's why when they put those words in there, shall not be infringed, that's why the 4 words are in Second Amendment. But what the hell do I know? I'm only quoting the Constitution. I mean, just last year, a Common Core, oh God, Common Core, don't even get me started on Common Core. My God, we'll never finish anything today. And now I'm starting to see commercials on Fox News about Common Core. No. I understand that you have a television station. And there is a thing called freedom. Anybody can advertise. However, you do have the right not to put certain advertisements on your stupid television station. Fox News, of all people, why would you take their money? Have you done any homework, any research on Common Core? My God, have you seen the assignments how to do math? You can't do math. A simple math problem that you should be able to do in your head, even as a fifth grader, a third grader, a goddamn first grader, takes a friggin' physicist 4 hours to figure out the problem, and they still can't get it right. And this is the kind of math that you're teaching the students. Parents, you got to wise up. You have to wise up, parents. And if you don't care about your kid, then why did you have them? If you have this little care about your child and the way that they're being educated, if you are that aloof, that far removed from your child's education, why the hell did you have your child? Think about it. Don't answer that question to me. Don't answer that question to anybody else but yourself. Why did you have children if you don't want to take care of them? If you're not interested in their education, you're not interested in how they grow up. Why would you have a kid? Why put them in the school system? If you don't care, why put them at school? Just keep them home and let them be stupid. They'll actually get a hell of a lot better education not going to school than they do if they do go to school. So just last year, a Common Core-backed textbook known as the most widely adopted history textbook, which you do not have Democrats explain history to you. Democrats don't know history. They rewrite history. Well, we don't like the way that was. Abraham Lincoln was not a Republican. He was a Democrat because we all know Democrats believe in peace and love and unicorns and rainbows for everybody. And Republicans hate. The Tea Party hates. That's all they do is they hate. They hate, they hate, they hate, they hate, they hate, they hate, they hate. Let me tell you something about the Tea Party. In my experience with the Tea Party, and I've been to a lot of them, on the steps of the Capitol building, here's what I've noticed with the Tea Party. Here's what they stand for. I haven't noticed anything else. Now, if there's other Tea Parties out there that stand for other things, it's unbeknownst to me, and I don't know them. But the ones that I'm familiar with, I can only talk about what I am privy to, the information that I am privy to. They only stand for just a couple of things. One, we expect our government to follow the Constitution. Two, we expect our government to be fiscally responsible. Now this president thinks that John Boehner and a group of 27 other wackos voted for cloture so they could vote against the bill and tell their constituents, look at me, I voted against it. But no, you didn't. You voted for it so it can go to the Senate and pass. So you can tell your constituents that you didn't vote for something. I was fighting for that middle class. No, you were fighting for your own ass. That's what you were fighting for. Give me that crap, middle class. Shut up, middle class. My Lord in heaven. This president now has an open checkbook. He can sign as many checks as he wants to. So yeah, the Tea Party does expect our government to be fiscally responsible. Nobody wants to go bankrupt. Does that have an effect on our sovereignty? If we aren't solvent, you really think, Mr. Krauthammer, that if we go bankrupt, that's not going to affect our sovereignty? Our sovereignty is already in jeopardy. This president has done a magnificent job of doing that, getting that completed. And now if we go bankrupt, no. Our sovereignty will be very rapidly taken away. We will not be the United States of America. We might be the United States of Russia, the United States of China, but we certainly aren't going to be the United States of America. This stuff is real. This isn't hyperbole. We expect our government to be fiscally responsible. We have to be fiscally responsible. Why can't they? Well, they're not, because we have allowed them to get away with it. If you give somebody an inch and they take a mile, and you keep giving them more inches so they can take more miles, what do you expect? This government has been taking advantage of us for far too many years. And it's time that we rise up. This is our government. It's not the government's government. This is ours. This is our government. They work for us. We don't work for them. We are not subjects. We are not employees. We are Americans. We are free. Just last year, I'm going to complete this sentence. It's going to take me forever, but I'm going to complete it. Just last year, a Common Core-backed textbook, known as the most widely adopted history textbook, was revealed to the state that Americans only have the right to keep and bear arms in a state militia. No. They're thinking, they hear the word militia, they're thinking an army. So you can only carry a gun if you're in the army. No. No. Read it again. A well-regulated militia. That means that if the government ever turns tyrannical, the American people have the right to organize and uprise against the government. That's what that means. Did you not go to school? Now, how come I know this stuff? How come little old me knows this stuff, but our government doesn't? Our educators. These are people that are educating your children and have no concept of this Constitution. And then when you argue with them, you're the hater. You're the bad guy. Why? How am I the bad guy when I'm the one telling the truth and you're the one telling the lie? Well, because the lie, the truth, it's offensive. Yeah, I know. Truth is offensive. Well, if the truth is really that offensive, that means you're guilty of something, which makes you offensive. Also, last year, 6th grade students in Arkansas were given an assignment to revise the outdated Bill of Rights. The outdated Bill of Rights, suggesting that the government can grant and remove inalienable rights. This is what they're teaching the kids. Here, kids, go ahead and rewrite the Bill of Rights and rewrite the Constitution so it best suits you. Let me tell you something. This Constitution best suits everybody. This document is not for one person. It's not just for the white people. It's not just for the rich people. It's for everybody. Are you an American citizen? Well, yeah, I am. Okay, this document is for you. Yeah, but I'm a different color than you. So? Are you an American citizen? Well, yeah. Okay. Conversation is closed. You're free. You're an American citizen. This document is for everybody. All right, before I get on to the next story here, it looks like we got a caller. Let's go to the caller here. Hello, you're on with the captain. How you doing?